Hello students, this video is about peristomial teeth in bryophytes. So let's introduce the topic. Students, in bryophytes, spores which are means of sexual reproduction are responsible for completion of life cycle. These are produced in capsule region of sporophyte. To avoid harsh environmental condition, these are well protected inside by thick capsule wall. For example, in Porella or spore sacs as in Sphagnum and Funaria. So at maturity, when they are ready to disperse for maintaining the continuity of life, they need assistance for easy dispersal. For this, plants have some adaptation in the form of modified structure like elaters in liverwort, pseudo-elaters in hornwort, and peristomial teeth in mosses. As the sporophyte evolved from simple to complex, that is from liverwort to mosses, these structures are also modified from simple elaters to complicated peristomial teeth, showing hygroscopic movement and play important role in spore dispersal. So students, you can see that in case of liverworts, you will find simple elaters for the dispersal of spore, while in case of hornwort, you will find pseudo elaters. While you can see in case of mosses, the structure is much complicated. Spores are produced inside the spore sac and they need special assistance for the dispersal, and that is provided by the peristomial teeth as you can see in this image. And there is ring of peristomial teeth, that is outer and inner in case of Funaria. The apical portion of the capsule is specialized to regulate the spore dispersal. It matures into operculum and peristome. The peristome teeth spring from the rim of the diaphragm. The teeth may be solid, cellular, tissue, or composed of thickened portion of the cell wall of adjacent cells. So you can see in case of Funaria that upper portion of the capsule is modified to form calyptra, operculum, and peristomial teeth. Operculum and calyptra are means for the protection of the spore, while peristomial teeth is for the dispersal of spore. And you can see here structure of the peristomial teeth in case of Funaria, showing central disc and outer ring. Peristomial teeth make an important character or a specialized structure in the sporogonium of mosses that allow for gradual spore dispersal. Their number is variable. The least number is 4, but occur in some other mosses in multiple of 4, such as 8, 16, 32, and 64. Peristomial teeth are different in morphology across species and also used as a classification tool. On the basis of absence and presence of peristomial teeth, mosses are classified into two types, that is, Stygiocarpus mosses, where operculum and peristome are present, and example is Funaria. And second is Clistocarpus mosses, both peristome and opercula are absent, and the example is Phascum cuspidatum piliform. So let's know about the peristomial teeth in detail. The word peristome is derived from Greek word peri, means around, and stoma means mouth. So peristome are teeth-like projection that surround the mouth of capsule in most of the member of mosses. These are triangular two-fly structure which operate like trap door for the dispersal of spore, as you can see in this image. Hedwig was the first biologist to propose a system of classification of mosses based on the character of peristome in his treatise species Muscorum frondosorum, which is regarded as the starting point for the nomenclature in the taxonomy of bryophytes. Further, the classification given by Dickson was mainly based on peristome. Dickson divided Bryody on the basis of origin and fundamental of peristome into two major classes, that is Nematodontae and Arthrodontae. So students, Bryody can be divided into these two classes. First one is Nematodontae, in which teeth are solid, composed of bundles of dead cells without articulation or external marking. While second is Arthrodontae. Here the teeth are thin, membranous, and transversely barreled, composed of thickened portion of the wall of 2 or 3 concentric rings or layers. So in uppercase they are without the external marking, while in lowercase there is presence of 2 to 3 concentric layers. Nematodontae is further divided into 4 orders, that is Dawsoniales, Polytrichales, Boxbomiales, Tetraphidates, etc. Orthodontae further divided into 3 main orders, that is Haplolapidales, Heterolapidales and Diplolapidales. But according to some scientists, 2 are main, that is Haplolapidales and Diplolapidales. So let's understand peristome on the basis of structure in detail, as they are of 2 types, nematodontus and orthodontus. And the nematodontus, as I explained to you earlier, teeth of peristome are solid, composed of bundles of dead cells and without articulation or external marking. So they can be easily identified without any external marking. They form a zone consisting of several concentric layers of cell of epithelium. Epithelium is middle layer during cell division and development of sporogonium. And the examples are Polytrichum, Pagognathum and Tetraphis. They do not exhibit hygroscopic movement. They are arranged in a single layer or single series, and simplest type of peristome is found in the order Tetraphidales. Here the operculum is single layered, whole tissue lying under operculum split into 4 sectors, thus forming 4 conical teeth of the peristome. So you can recall this type by they do not show hygroscopic movement, they are arranged in single series, and there is no articulation on the surface. So you can see here the most simple one, that is Tetraphidales peristomial teeth, where in first image you can see mature peristome and operculum, while in second image you can see that capsule shows splitting of mass of tissue inside single layered operculum, and they are divided into 4. Next is Polytrichales. Nematodontus type of peristome in this order consists of ring of 32 or 64 short pyramidal solid teeth. Each mature teeth is made up of central colored pillars of fiber-like cell, and peristome tooth is composed of curved crescent shaped thickened fiber-like cells with several layers in thickness. The tip of these teeth are jointed to margin of epigram, which is stretched like the tymphanum of drum over the top of columella. So you can see they are pillar-like, thickened or curved at the top. Next is Dawsoniales. Peristome forming zone is broad, and peristome in this type consisting of numerous elongated filaments. Teeth are bristle-like or broomstick-like. Cross section of the opercular region shows that these teeth form several concentric rings instead of a single ring. The long filamentous teeth are simple, continuous throughout their length. So you can see that they are here bristle-like and they form many rings. Next is Boxbomiales. Tooth of Boxbomiale is between typical orthodontous and typical nematodontus type. Peristome is double, differentiated into inner and outer peristome. Inner is more regular and more distinct, while outer consists of one or several layers, often 3 concentric series of slender, linear thread-like teeth. Height of teeth progressively decreases, in this case from inside to outside. The inner peristome of Boxomia consists of 32 fold, while in Difficium they are 16. In this order, peristome may be rudimentary, means it is preliminary type and is not much developed. So, Boxbomiales can be divided into Boxemia and Difficium, and you can see in Boxbomia there are 2 ring, outer as well as inner. Next is second type, that is orthodontous peristome. They are thin, membranous and transversely barreled, composed of thickened portion of the wall of 2 or 3 concentric rings or layers. They consist of articulated thickening or markings unlike the nematodontous type. They form a cone which consists of 2 or 3 layers of the cell which arises from the epithelium, and examples are funaria and biome. Or number of cell columns articulated to form length of a tooth. Orthodontous peristome is of further 2 types, that is haplolapidus peristome and diplolapidus peristome. So the orthodontous type of peristome is composed of periclinal cell wall between 2 or 3 concentric peristomial cell layers, and these are outer peristomial layer, primary peristomial layer, inner peristomial layer. Double ring of teeth is present surrounding the mouth of capsule, and 2 types of ring are outer and inner. So students, you can easily differentiate orthodontous type, that is diplolapidus and haplolapidus, as in diplolapidus there is 2 column as its name indicate, that is exostome and endostome. Both are present there, and example is funareals. While in haplolapidus the exostome is missing but the endostome is well developed and strongly thickened. Only 1 column of cell is there which help in its formation, and example is dicranales. So first type is haplolapidus peristome. These are single layered and consist of single series of teeth formed of membranes of 2 concentric cell layers. Sometimes consist of a thin membrane rising conically over the mouth of capsule, having only a minute aperture at the apex. But in majority of cases, the membrane is well split from top to bottom into a number of filaments called peristome. The number of peristome is always multiple of 4, most frequently 16 to 32, rarely 8 or 64. These teeth are undivided at the base. Best example is found in the genus Dicranum species, so it is also called the Dicken type peristome. So here you can see these images. In case of Physidium, there is splitting of the tooth, while in Borbula and Tortula, peristomial teeth form complete ring. Next is Diplolapidus peristome. As name indicate, it is double layered. Outer membranous ring is known as exostome and the inner one is known as endostome. Rarely it is single layered where endostome is lacking or reduced, as in family Sphagnaceae or funareals. External ring which is formed of outer peristomial layer or primary peristomial layer is collectively known as exostome. Internal ring of teeth is formed of primary peristomial layer or inner peristomial layer and known as endostome. The exostome peristome of haplolapidus peristome is consist of 2 layers of plates. Inner single row of plates and outer 2 rows of plates. While endostome is formed of 2 plate layer, but these layers are generally thinner, delicate and difficult to distinguish. The plates of inner layer of outer peristome tooth correspond to the plate of outer layer of inner peristome, same in number but placed exactly opposite. The endostome exhibit much variation in their structure of degree of development in different orders and families. In family Orthotrichales, the peristome is usually double but occasionally single. The outer peristome consists of 16 teeth often united in pair. So students, the diplolapidus type is further divided into 2 types, that are diplolapidus apposite and diplolapidus alternate. In apposite, that is present in funaria type, the anticlinal wall of the inner peristomial layer and primary peristomial layers are perfectly aligned. So endostome and exostome teeth are opposite. In diplolapidus alternate, which is also called Biome type, inner peristomial layer are asymmetrical, producing narrow cells to the large cells. Here the inner peristomial layer shift, displacing position of the primary peristomial layer, and exostome and endostome are in alternative form. So in opposite type they are opposite and in alternate form they are alternate. Next is mechanism of capsule descent and spore dispersal. As the dry season, the operculum starts to shrive. Annulus, which is thin layer, means to removal of the operculum, swell up by the absorbing air moisture due to unequal water content inside these. The operculum break through the annulus ring. Now the operculum layer become detached and thrown out from the capsule. On removing of the operculum, the next two rings of the peristome teeth become exposed. At dry season, the unequal shriving in spore sac and columella also causes to rupture the spore sac. Students, as you can see in this image of Funaria, the setae elongated to expose the capsule into air, that is dry air. And you can see here annulus break and remove the operculum, which exposes the peristome to the air. The free spores now comes out from the capsule through the elongated slit between the inner ring of the peristome teeth, and the spore disperse through the wind. So you can see in this image, after removal of the operculum, peristome teeth are exposed, they undergo a split and releases the spore. In Polytrichum, after maturity of capsule, thin walled cells between peristome dry up, due to which minute hole appear between the successive peristome in the margin of the epigram. A few spores disperse through these pores. Next is function of the peristomial teeth. Students, you know very well, main function of peristomial teeth is to assist the spore dispersal. So let's know the function in detail. Peristome teeth serve as a valve that allow the spores to exit the capsule. The peristome teeth open and splay outward during times of low humidity and allow the spore to float away and disperse. One layer rapidly absorbs and releases water while the other layer does not react very much to the varying humidity level, and the teeth vent outward during low humidity. In some mosses, peristome behave in other ways. For example, they are double in Funaria, and outer peristome is hygroscopic while inner is not hygroscopic. Only they act as a sieve which act to disperse the spore gradually. Funaria mosses have slit between the teeth that expand during dry periods. In Polystichium mosses, the peristome teeth do not respond to moisture. Students, in some mosses, Dicinum and Critodon, the peristome teeth are long and stand nearby erect and with the points touching, so as to form a kind of case over the mouth of the capsule. They protect the spore from weak wind and allow them to be blown away gradually. While in aquatic mosses like Fontanellis, the inner peristome form a delicate connected lattice work with square perforation, which prevent the spore from being washed out too quickly and release them gradually. So you can see in different mosses there is different mode of spore dispersal with the help of peristomial teeth. To conclude, I must say that peristome help in spore dispersal. They are hygroscopic in nature in case of Funaria and Brachythecium, and non-hygroscopic in Polytrichum. In Funaria, hygroscopic movement assists in gradual discharge of spore. In high humidity, the outer layer absorb water and bend inward, with their tip inserted into the gap between the inner peristome. During dry condition, peristome lose water and vent outward. Inner layer do not show hygroscopic movement and it only function as a sieve, releasing spore gradually. So students, that's all about this video. I hope you understood the topic. Thank you for listening.